Okay. Is this any better?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so big welcome to the final Wednesday Wisdom session for IIT Vedic Vision Society for the semester. So I can't believe it's gone by so quickly, but you know, I hope it's been an exciting journey and one that will continue well beyond these 10 weeks that we've had these discussions. And I wanted to first, before getting into the theme for tonight, lessons from the trees, I wanted to hear your reflections on the gratitude exercise. If you were able to do it, even for a couple of days, and just to hear about how that went.
Okay. Shivi, you want to start? Then I will speak.
Oh, why did you put me on the spot? Okay. Yeah, it was difficult. I won't say that I followed it every day. I think twice, 2 days I missed, including today. And still today, it's like not the end. So let's see. Okay. So yeah, the reaction that I got, it was like pretty. My family was like, they were surprised. They were like, "What happened to you?" Uh, so, yeah, no, at the end, everyone was like quite happy. I was getting very positive responses, but I saw like if I show gratitude towards someone, there are people who are like they're surprised on receiving, that they are like, why this is happening? They're like very shy, sort of. Oh my god, is someone really thanking me, or is someone like really getting back to me to what I had done previously? So I sort of got very mixed sort of reactions. But at the end, what I found was like I, I had to be like mindful, and I was like I had to be really how to say, be present in order to um, um, realize and show gratitude towards them, sort of. So yeah, it was like pretty good exercise, and I was fairly calm for the entire week because my mind was like, I have to show gratitude. Be calm. So it was good. It was fun. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And just curious, you talked a little bit about how it was challenging at times because you were saying you just had to be very conscious of it. What was the easiest part about
Yeah.
it?
The easiest part, well, for me, it was yeah. See, the easiest part was after you realize like what the other person has done for you or something like that. Then you know, approaching them and just having a conversation. I mean, thanking them or whatever, an action.
Mm-hmm.
After that, whatever, the outcome of that, it was like really we went with the flow. It was like I was able to better start. I was having a better relationship with them, I think. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at that certain point of time, that and that made it everything that followed very, I mean, very smooth.
Okay, so what you're saying is the actual exercise was perhaps a little challenging or maybe not top of mind kind of thing, but the after effects of going through that exercise just made the flow of the relationship easier for you. Oh, that's really interesting. That's a nice
That
observation.
was
Nice. What about you, Vaishali? You're not off the hook. I'll put you on the spot now.
True. Okay. So honestly, I thought of like I was not able to do for every person as such, but at least I thought, okay, let's do for those who are I am not in contact since many days, but they are like in my journey for longer period they were there with me. So I thought, okay, let's At least because if I say thank you, it's like they will feel weird or whatever. But at least I messaged them, reached out to them, and done some conversation. So, like I wrote down in my journal, but it's not that I express them. Like for a few, definitely I express because they are very close and they are in touch with me like regularly. So it's for them. For them, it's for me. It's easy to express like straight away, like whatever, like thank you for being there, and it's like so they took it very positively for sure. But I'm still thinking like because suddenly I have not messaged them for longer period and saying like thank you will I think they will feel somehow weird maybe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Like in like at least I should start how are they and like those things and then definitely. But I noted like thank you for this exercise because I thought let's do this because some people we get busy and it's not that we don't remember them or something, but we never reach out to them to express gratitude. So it's like now my next exercise will be definitely say straight away that or express gratitude.
All right. And
So, yeah.
you're recording this session, so there's evidence.
True. My next struggle is my family. Like definitely, uh, it's I don't know how to express gratitude to mother. I don't know.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, in words, of course. Like because we are so close, so it's very difficult for me to express in words. But of course, she knows. But I don't know. Then how should I express gratitude towards like a person like mother or my sister, elder sister? It's very like I'm still thinking of, but definitely. Uh, I think it's not always words convey feelings, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I think writing, I think, okay, writing will be good. Can you suggest something? Because it's, I don't know how to express them straight away, like for mother and for elder sister, especially.
Sure. And maybe um, so something that we'll touch on in a little bit is sometimes people just want to be asked.
Mm,
They just want to be asked, I'm feeling, something like, I'm feeling this gratitude toward you for the more specific, the better. And I feel compelled to reciprocate somehow. How can I reciprocate? And just ask them.
mm.
But
Yeah, like for a
talk
mother
about that a
I
little.
will say definitely we sometimes I will be so emotional and I will say things like we know what you did for us and like that way. But I think in more like uh, yeah, I want to express a long definitely a very big gratitude towards them, like two
Hmm.
persons, my elder sister and definitely my mother.
Hmm.
But thank you for this exercise because I think after coming to US, uh, it's like we move forward and it's not we forget people, but uh, we don't think that it's necessary to reach out to them and particularly express gratitude. We never thought of it previously. Like after coming to Krishna consciousness, I think I'm feeling this. Okay, even like expressing is you feel better, and definitely, like Shivi said, definitely that person as well feel better. So this is always nice exercise. Like, thank you so much.
Well, you're most welcome. And I could also turn that to you and say thank you for sincerely doing the exercise. And you know, we'll explore some of the concepts that you've raised in this conversation about trees, and also I won't let myself off the hook either, since you were brave enough to share. I'll also share. I didn't do every day. I think I missed 2 days, and one of the interesting things is it's not something that I normally make, that I'm externally conscious of, in terms of what I've been given from others or just other kinds of situations or facilities. And so, echoing Shivi, what you were saying, that it forced me to be a little more mindful of these different pieces of my life. And the interesting thing is, initially I was thinking like, okay, day 1, I'm grateful for this. This is what I did, check. Day 2, I'm grateful for this. This is what I did to reciprocate, check. But the interesting thing is, the things that I was expressing gratitude for, the people and things in the beginning, they were popping up in days 3 and 4 and 5 as well. So it was actually like a broader awareness of the concept of gratitude and sincerely acting from that platform. Like one of the things, you know, just to share specifically, I wrote that I'm very grateful for a loving and supportive wife. So my wife, and there would be times where she would like say or do something and I'd feel a little irritated, and then I'd go back just to that, oh yeah, this was my day 2 gratitude message, and then just reflecting on that, and that really served to put things in perspective for me, so that all I, you know, that immediate situation wasn't all I see. I'm now starting to be cognizant of the relationship, not just the situation. So yeah, I mean, I stated the exercise, but I benefited immensely, because to be perfectly honest, I've never done this exercise before either. So you know, I'm glad we got to experience this together and get different perspectives, and thank you for that. And so that takes us really nicely into the theme for today, which is lessons from trees. Because with gratitude, the wonderful thing is, when the feeling is there, there's an impetus to want to do something. Like Vaishali, you were sharing that you were feeling a little bit of a pause because you feel this gratitude, but you were sharing that it's difficult to know how to even, what to do with that. Like, yeah, there's words, but maybe I want to do something more than words, is what you were sharing. And that's so true. That's so true, because it's very natural to us, not just in a typical social exchange, but just the nature of the soul, to want to act and reciprocate and love. And so that positive feeling is natural. Now, I want to start with a video, which has concepts of service. And if you prefer notes, maybe take notes just on your thoughts or reactions to what you're seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a second. This is going to be the basis of today. Okay. Now, really quick, you can all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. And how many of us have ever heard of this book or read this book?
No.
No.
No? Okay. Okay. Great. So it'll be a new experience. And, just in the framework of relationships, and especially the focus of today's theme, which is service, so that action that's driven by a certain level of a desire to reciprocate. Let's just look at this and against that lens. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it.
The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day, the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and eat apples and play in my shade, and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day, the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered. "Come and play." "I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy. But not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I am sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I am too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I am sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could, "well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end.
Okay. So just curious on a few thoughts. In the context of service, do you see this as a story of service? Like serving?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And so if this is an illustration of service, what's the nature of that service? Meaning, like, does it seem like, are both sides of that service exchange deriving happiness?
I think it was more of from the tree's point of view, and it was like more of selfless service.
Yeah, same.
Okay. So the tree's point of view, selfless service. And so why do you say selfless service?
Yeah, because it was like it was only giving him happiness. I mean, that's, I think, the least thing, I mean, possible thing that it was getting back from, giving away all the trees, apple, whatever, to the boy. So it was, I mean, in the process of giving away, the tree wasn't keeping anything for itself.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a point that the boy wanted the roots of the tree, it would have given it away.
That's very true. So, okay. And did it seem like a healthy, balanced relationship of service?
No.
Okay. Why do you say that?
So it's kind of selfish attitude. Like, because you cannot give me anything, can you give me money? those reciprocations.
Okay.
So I think first of all, like it's like money oriented mind.
Like,
Then
what can I take from?
yeah, can you give? Can I buy? Like, can you give me money? Can I buy something for me? Like this kind of. So it's very selfish. Like when we want, we just take it and we just forget that kind of attitude. But he was like always welcoming, always in giving, even like till the end, whatever has left. So even that part of like each and everything, like leaves, we can play with leaves, we can just play with branches, fruits. So every part is serving. Every part is serving, and we are not even like caring like that. Yeah.
That's interesting. And so we've established that the tree is the selfless, sacrificing hero, and this exploitative monster that just wants to profiteer from someone that loves him very much.
Yeah, if if someone argues also that in return the boy is giving happiness, but the thing is, it's the nature of the tree that it's being happy by mm, getting exploited or whatever. It's not what the boy is giving him. It's any other person would have come, the tree would have been happier.
True.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like this story never makes it clear why the tree even liked this boy. Because I could see like there's also a tree out there that's like, don't touch my branches. I'm gonna throw a coconut on your head or something. But yeah, that's a really nice point. So if we're observing this dynamic where the tree is just giving and giving and giving, and this boy is just taking and taking and taking, that's the nature of attachment. So when, let's say, I am attached to feeling in a certain way, I can potentially make decisions or serve in a way that's not good for me long term. In the case of the tree, it literally gave until it had nothing left to give. But what was that nothing left to give point? The tree is dead for all practical purposes. And so that's, I was showing this as a little bit of a foil of the nature of service. That you're right, Shivi. The nature of trees is they provide shade to the criminal as well as the billionaire. They'll give fruit freely to whoever is there to take, whether it's a person or an animal. The nature of the tree is just to give and give and give. And one of the lessons that we can take from that is in this desire to express gratitude through practical service, through that service could be words, it could be some kind of action to express that feeling of gratitude, that it should come from a platform where we're not drawing down our reservoirs to nil, that we're not literally cutting ourselves down to the stump in the name of trying to derive pleasure from giving them pleasure. And so another way to look at it is a concept that we talked about a few weeks back of tapping into that well that never dries up. And so when we're talking about expressing gratitude and giving, we should always be making sure that we are also receiving. So it's kind of like this cycle, this closed loop of receiving and then giving. And so the service is in a, I guess, let's say, a more mature state can be seen as a two-way street. a healthy, balanced relationship means the service goes both ways, that we're giving and receiving. And so with that in mind, I'm just trying to think how to word this. Fundamental to a healthy, balanced relationship is service. And the beautiful thing about a healthy, balanced relationship, where there's respect, where there's giving and receiving, is that it becomes almost a competition. When there's really true love at the core of that exchange, when there's at the heart of it true gratitude on both sides, it's a competition. What can I do to please this person? And the other person is thinking, what can I do to please this person? And it becomes this escalating feedback of just gratitude and love and service. But as soon as there's a slight imbalance or break in that, we'll call it closed loop, an imbalance in the relationship, then it very easily can morph into something that resembles exploitation. It may not be as obvious as the example of what we saw in that video, but it starts to force the question of what is my goal in that relationship? Or how to give or express in a way that I can continue to grow and even have more to give in the future. So there's this book called the Upadeshamrita. Well, it's actually a series of verses called the Upadeshamrita by a 16th century saint and scholar named Rupa Goswami. And in that, he talks about 6 exchanges, 6 loving exchanges. And they are the giving and receiving of food, sanctified food, prasadam, the giving and receiving of gifts, and the revealing one's heart and mind, as well as receiving advice. So the two-way relationship, the glue that holds that together. And so that all is seen from the lens of building relationships, rendering service unto that individual, because it is an effort, it is a service to do any of those 6 exchanges, whether it's a physical gift or something else, or a gesture that's given unexpectedly on the recipient. And so if we want to look at gratitude from the perspective of building relationships and being in healthy, balanced relationships, there needs to be a certain element of discrimination. Who I reveal my heart and mind to, who I receive advice from, and similarly, who I would actively serve or what I would actively serve. Now, someone may say, I don't serve, service isn't for me. I just live life on my own and I leave others on their own. And that's just how I am. But I'll ask this, is it possible to live a life without serving?
No.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Okay, even in a selfish way, I think we try to serve ourselves then.
Okay.
Never like time we don't serve anyone.
Yeah, it's very true. There's a saying I heard that for those that don't serve God, they serve dog. But the idea is that that nature is to serve someone or something. So it might be another person, it might be my pet, it might be myself in a very direct way, it might be a cause, an idea. And so the nature of service is, it's all rooted in activity, and it's literally impossible to function without performing some kind of activity. Now, who or what we are serving makes all the difference in the world. Who or what we serve influences the qualities that we develop, the desires that we hold dear to ourselves. Because there's another saying that if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with 5 millionaires and you'll be the 6th. Another way to say it is birds of a feather flock together. The idea there is that we become influenced by very strongly the company that we keep. And keeping certain company is reliant on some degree of service. Service in the sense of investing in that relationship, to invest in some way those 6 exchanges that are cited by Rupa Goswami. And so it goes back to the idea also of that level of discrimination in service, that I must very carefully choose the object or person of my service, knowing that it has the ability to influence who I am as a person. Now, just going back to trees, the nature of the tree, there's patience, there's tolerance, there's selflessness. And I mean, just an example of just the importance of being very careful of whom we render service to or what we render service to. That, well, I'll pose this hypothetical scenario. If, let's say, someone approaches us on the street and asks us for $2, and we give the $2, and then you observe that that person uses the $2 to buy a few cigarettes, have we done them a service? Okay, Shivi, you're shaking your head. Why?
No, I mean, because doing a service, meaning you are actually sort of helping that person, or the person who like for that person you are doing something that is going to make changes in a positive way, sort of thing. But cigarette, of course, it's injurious to health, so of course not.
Well, maybe I could say that it's positive. I feel good. I relax when I smoke a cigarette. Why are you saying that's bad for me?
No. I mean, I'm not feeling bad for you, but here the thing would be, maybe you are not even sure what is like good for you.
Okay.
Come up with that excuse. I mean, I feel good. I mean, if a person feels good beating up some other person, that doesn't mean that that's the right thing. So.
Okay. All right. So that's an interesting idea then, that we're talking about when we want to serve another person or an idea or a something, that there's a certain element of worthiness of the service. Is that act of service going to cause this person or this thing harm or degradation? There's a certain qualification to receive certain kinds of service. For, let's say, somebody who's addicted to drugs, the best way to serve them is to not support continuing that habit. Maybe depending on the relationship, there are other ways that we can serve or support this person, but just knowing that the service to the best of our ability is not something that should be harmful. So it means a certain degree of thoughtfulness, not just giving into the whims of the person that we want to either express gratitude for or support or whatever it may be. And then just looking at service from another angle as well. We were talking about service from the perspective of reciprocation of gratitude or potentially uplifting someone. Is all service a selfless expression of that love or gratitude or those higher qualities that we are talking about? Yes or no?
Sorry, come again. What was that exactly? I got confused.
Oh,
Thinking.
sure. So the question is any form of service or is all service, so when we're talking about serving, is all service an expression of selfless love?
Hmm. It should be.
Okay.
I doubt that.
No, it's interesting that you say it should be. Could you elaborate on that?
I mean, if you give it the term a service, then ideally it should be selfless. I mean, you are not expecting anything back in return. If you're expecting, then that's a business. That's a transaction. That's not a service.
Okay. Okay.
But still, it's very contradicting. I mean, if I'm feeling happy about it, will that still be a service? So it's still, I mean, it's like mixed thing. I'm still not sure whether I can put it as a service or a business transaction. I don't know.
Okay, so you're saying that there could be a service, like the ideal state of service, understanding what you're saying, the ideal state of service is that it is selfless acts of love.
Mm-hmm.
But implied in your statement is the reality is that's usually something less than that. Whether it's I'm getting happiness from it, and so I do these things because I feel good. Or
Yeah.
I'm serving this person because I know that I can get this benefit.
Yeah.
I police officer friends, so if I get pulled over, I get off the hook or something.
So I mean, yeah. So now that I think I got a better understanding of it. So I'll call it as a service if I'm already happy and I'm just doing that service. Just like it is not making any difference to me. I'm already happy. Okay, I'll just go ahead and do that service, and that's it. I'm not doing it because I want to be happy. That should be it. Oh, Vaishali, you were saying something. Sorry.
Yeah, like ideal definition of like implied meaning of service is without expecting anything. But like even if I say I get satisfied or I feel peace after doing this, then it's again I think we are expecting then something.
Well, just to throw an idea on expectation, if I put some rice in a pot with water and turn on the flame, is it wrong to expect that the rice will cook?
Okay.
Is it? If I'm saying any kind of service that I perform, no expectation, like if you could just elaborate on this concept of expectation.
Yeah, like okay, then implied is like we will get like happiness.
Sure. And the interesting thing too is, and for all of, I guess, like the blaming and shaming that we can ascribe to that tree and the boy and the giving tree, there's also an interesting, there's an interesting dynamic at play where that tree was completely satisfied to just keep giving, and we can argue about the responsibility of that giving. But the satisfaction was just in the pleasure of the beloved. And so when we're talking about the higher expressions of service, that it is selfless, that there is no expectation, the tree fulfilled that. The tree had no expectation that the boy was going to give me something back. And at the end, when the tree was less than happy after it was pretty much destroyed, and then the boy came back, the tree wasn't lamenting its situation that I have no leaves, no branches, no fruits, no trunk left. The tree was lamenting, I have nothing that I can think to give. And so in that respect, that tree had a very highly developed mood of service. And again, going back to perhaps the execution of that mood of service wasn't the most responsible, but there was no sadness that the tree was not feeling the love from the boy. And so that is the high standard, but just in our state, where going back to things that we've talked about in previous weeks, as long as I'm identifying with this body and am living my life in a way where service to the body and service to everyone and everything in relation to the body is the first thing, then that true selfless expression of love is not possible. If I want to serve someone or something, more likely than not, it's because I see it in relation to me. And so it's a little bit of a jump where in this process of bhakti yoga, it's not how can I serve for the pleasure of myself, it's about how can I serve for the pleasure of God. And through that lens, we are able to properly serve everyone and everything around us. Because if we accept that God is the creator of everything, the proprietor of everything, then naturally that mood, that respect, flows into everyone and everything around us. So this talk had the subtitle of How to Live a More Peaceful and Fulfilling Life Through Introspection and Observation. And that introspection and observation really comes down to, what is my motive in wanting to render some service, in wanting to express that loving gratitude in a relationship? What's the basis of it? Am I continuing the what's in it for me program? Or am I trying to do something else where, out of gratitude for everything that I receive, I want to share that joy, that fulfillment that I feel with others so that they can also feel that same joy and fulfillment? Now, there's this 8-verse composition called the Shikshashtakam, and the third verse of it is, I'll just read it and then read the translation. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sarahari. So in this verse, it was composed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in West Bengal in the 15th and 16th centuries. He writes, one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, shout out to the trees, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. And so the interesting thing is, this chanting that we dabbled in on a couple of sessions, it's sometimes described as a prayer. So it's there's also the element of purification. So helping to remove these false identifications, these short-term motives, and really just connect with our higher self, our transcendental nature, and the source of everything, God. So it provides that, but at the same time, it also helps establish that vision of seeing everyone and everything in relation to God. So if I want to say, I want to engage in service that's devoid of a selfish motive, the best thing that we can do, in a way we can call it self-service, is to practice this bhakti yoga through this mantra meditation. And so these feelings of gratitude, this desire to serve in a way that is beneficial to others, starts to become awakened. We start to more closely identify with our nature as souls, which is eternal, full of happiness, full of knowledge, in relationships with each other. And so through that, we can develop a better picture of what it means to serve other people and other things in a way that's beneficial, because it modifies, it clarifies, I should say, what it means to benefit somebody else, what it means to serve them. There's a saying that I'm going to paraphrase, I don't know the exact words, but give a man a fish and he eats for a day, teach a man to fish and he eats for life. And so when we can properly situate ourselves with this clarity that comes with this mantra meditation, then we can carry that clarity over to others so that others can also act in a way of greater clarity, greater happiness, greater balance. And so that is the ultimate service, the best service that we can do for other people, is to just help each other along this journey. So I'm gonna pause there and just see what your thoughts are. And welcome, Akhilesh. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, yeah. What happened to your forehead?
Oh, my daughter, she accidentally hit me there with her teeth. And yeah, the plane got a little wild.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a fight club.
That's fun. So just in terms of service and how to best serve, and just trying to serve in a way where we're drawing from a well that has no limits. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Because otherwise, if it's anything but that, then our service has an expiration date. Because the nature of this world, the nature of anything material, and I'll make a distinction between matter and spirit, the nature of material is that there's a beginning and there's an end. And so if we're serious about this reciprocation through service, well, gratitude has no end, and so should the expression of it. And so where are we drawing that gratitude from, and that desire to express it through service? Like an example that's often given is about the idea of watering a tree, that if we water a tree by the roots, then automatically every part of the tree gets nourished. But if we try to water the tree by spraying some leaves and spraying some branches and spraying the trunk, the tree is going to shrivel up and die because we haven't connected with that source. And so with this process of mantra meditation, we are connecting with that source so that we're able to provide that shade, that shelter, that fruit, the branches, everything that tree in that book was giving, we can give, but we won't kill ourselves in the process of it.
So are you saying we are like just a medium of service? Like we are getting energy from some higher power and then passing it on to the person who needs the service?
Yeah, Yeah, and that's true even if we're not conscious of it. Who we pass it on and our consciousness while passing it on is the only thing that changes. Like how we express it and the thoughts behind how we express it change. But the nature of serving, being a conduit of service, doesn't change. That's kind of what you were getting at, or am I?
Yes.
Okay.
So, so what's my role? I mean, I mean, I'm just being a medium here, right? So, I mean, the gratitude or service, it's like it's just from the higher power to the person who like needs that service. I'm just being the medium, so I mean, what I think.
What does being the medium look like? What do you do with that?
Yeah, what's the point of that? Is it like am I just providing for the person who is not capable of doing all those stuff on their own?
So it's not necessarily even that, if I'm understanding you correctly or following you correctly, it's not necessarily that I am now in a position where I'm giving to somebody that needs something from me or that's less fortunate than me or whatever it might be. It's just understanding that if I am connected to that source, if I am investing in that relationship with God, then that the nature of that relationship. So God loves all of us indiscriminately. He takes care of the atheist just as nicely as he takes care of the person that's a devout worshiper of him. But what's different is the quality of that relationship, the difference between merely providing versus reciprocating. And so when we invest in that relationship with God, we have more facility to assist others in realizing that relationship, also being in that position of shelter and happiness and peace. Because the example that I was sharing toward the end about being like that tree in the giving tree, except we have a happy ending where we don't die and we can just give more and more and more. We're not giving ourselves dry. Because if we look at the relationship with God as eternal, so the nature of that relationship's eternal, what I can receive from God and how I can reciprocate from God is eternal, because it doesn't matter if I'm in this body or a different body, because I can always express and act in that relationship. And then coupled with some of the understanding, like the soul is eternal, nothing can touch me, nothing can hurt me, there's automatically peace. There's automatically clarity. And how much good in the world we can do just by cultivating that level of clarity in ourselves. It's like if there's a fire and someone's in the building in the fire and you're also there and they're just like, oh my God, what do I do? But if you're able to maintain that clarity, maintain that level-headedness, then you can be in a better position to serve that other person to safely get out, because you can keep a higher perspective, a higher understanding of the world around us. So as an example, like even just knowing that the soul can't be touched, it can't be burned, and etc. There's a certain element of calmness or serenity that comes from truly understanding that point, versus somebody that I live my life according to the idea that I am this body and everything that I gain and lose is a reflection of me as a person. It's a very turbulent life. The mind is always disturbed because I'm seeing, that this is really everything, versus the person that understands this is an experience. It's real in the sense, but that's not defining who I am and my overall well-being. And I don't know, Akhilesh, if you wanted to comment on that or add anything. Okay. Does that support what you were?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, so really the best service that we can do for others is really to especially invest in ourselves. And that's why I'm just like going back to this mantra meditation. For the same reason that medical practitioners spend so much time in school before they practice medicine. The desire to help others and serve others could be really, really strong, but without proper training and understanding, good intentions are good, but they're not always good enough.
Yes, actually, that example of well having water so that it can provide that was really catchy. I think I got this entire 1 hour summary in that. You can provide only if you have it.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And Vaishali, if you wanted to share anything else, otherwise I think we'll wrap up for tonight for the semester. Wow.
Yeah. We like I am feeling sad because every Wednesday it's like we are looking forward to these sessions.
You're very kind. Thank you for inviting me. In spite of my best efforts, you keep having me back every week.
Thank you so much. It's a very nice topics, like it's very interesting.
Very interesting, and it really, makes me think. I mean, I actually need to think. I think it's sort of meditation. I actually need to, get to know exactly what's happening behind before I, start discussion here. It's like, yeah.
Nice.
need to
Well, I
meditate on it.
appreciate your enthusiastic participation because I know that this perhaps style or approach doesn't resonate with everybody. So I really appreciate just you all putting yourselves out there just to share your views and really contribute in a nice way to just advancing the conversation. And
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
all honesty, I also learned from hearing what you're sharing. So, all right. Oh, and Akhilesh says you're welcome. All right. Well, for those of you that have finals, good luck on your finals, because that's coming up in a couple of 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll miss those days, but I feel for you. But I'm sure you'll do great. But anyway, that stuff can't hurt you. Can't touch you. All right. Have a good night. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Bye.
Hare Krishna. Happy Ram Navami.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Ram Navami, yes.
So yeah. Yeah, it's today, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yes. So another thing to feel happy and grateful for.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.